Welcome back to our final game of the night. After 6 hours later, Sleeper, we have our final game of the night. We made it to the end of the show. Number 1, Northern Arizona takes on number 2, Idaho State out of the Big Sky tournament. We get to punch one final ticket tonight before our 3 games continue tomorrow. But Sleeper, we've punched, I think, 8 tickets now to the dance, looking to punch ticket number 9 now.
Yeah, we have Northern Arizona, the Lumberjacks, taking on the Idaho State Bengals. Both of these teams, no stranger to the other. 2-1 is the head-to-head right now in favor of NAU, but the Lumberjacks have yet to get a playoff win against the Bengals, so we'll see how that fares out for them this time around.
We punched 11 tickets. This is ticket number 12. Here tonight is 6. Yeah, this would be ticket number 12 to the tournament. So we're about halfway through the conference championship week already. We'll be 12 out of 23, so we're halfway there.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. We've got a lot more CCS ahead. I mean, we still have the rest of punching the tickets to the championship, and then we've got the entire championship to get through. So there's still no shortage of CCS for the season. Plenty of games left to play, but for the stream here, there's one last game after such a long night tonight. We have one last match to close it out.
Been live for 5 hours and 12 minutes, so we've been live a long time, Sleeper, but the players are ready. Let's get out of the field. This series needs no introduction. It's a pure classic in CCS.
Yeah, but I mean, Idaho State, they joined us in Season 4. NAU coming in the season before, and these two teams, they've definitely had a lot of playing time against each other. No stranger, like I said. We'll have to see exactly which team will be able to come out on top in this best of 7.
And NAU, their first season was Season 3 back in the summer of last year, Sleeper, and they ran into that storied Nebraska squad in their first trip to the tournament. They know what it takes to play in the tournament. They've been there twice, but they've never escaped they got through the first round last season. So they're 1-2 in the tournament.
Definitely not a great national championship showing for your team if you're NAU, but they're wanting to go back. I believe with the track record that NAU has, even if they do end up losing in this match, then they would go dancing anyways. They're currently 9-0 on the season, including non-conference, making their way all the way to the grand finals in their conference one more time here in Season 5. Is both teams looking to try and get started here on the offensive footing.
Yeah, I have NAU as high as a 6 seed in this tournament this year. They have been very, very good this year. I'm excited to watch this team play, Sleeper, and they are a heck of a squad. They lost to Indiana last year, made the Final Four in the second round. They know what it takes to dance, and they are going to be a team that's going to be a very hard out in the tournament.
Yeah, again, both teams trying to work here early on. Both defenses are holding strong, not allowing any cheap shots to go through the way of the net. Both of them playing at a much faster pace, I would say, compared to what we saw last game. These are two teams that are on a bit of a different level. Ultramag's shot saved by Chronicle.
In the regular season meeting, NAU have their way with Idaho State, swept them 3-0. None of the games are close, Sleeper. We'll see if tonight's series delivers anything different.
Yeah, Idaho State, they've been able to step up in the playoffs against NAU before. We'll have to see if they're able to do it again. As they're able to keep up on the back foot here. Now getting a clear down the other way. But it's right back into that offensive half for NAU. It's a little bit of a boom and chase ball we got going on here so far in this game, and at least in the last minute or so that we've had. Neither team really able to take firm control of this game quite yet.
2:35 to go. That ball dropping straight down in front of the NAU goal, but nothing able to fall on through. For Idaho State, the Bengals still held to 0. Halftime in game 1. Still, neither team on the board.
Now, Idaho State, again, trying to force its center. Adam will send it towards the net, a little wide. Chronicle there to not allow that to advance any further. Gets demoed is Ultramag. Now EJ letting that one go off the backboard. Adam possibly calling him off, saying he's got a better touch there. Now it's going to be sent up to Ultramag, down to Adam. His shot is a soft touch, though, and Chronicle will pick up an easy save there.
Carr from the backfield. One-on-one, half the defender in isolation. The double, no good. Adams will make the save. And now NAU's offense trying to reset himself up in the orange zone. It's quickly broken through, though, by Adams, and Idaho State back in offense.
Yeah, but like we were seeing here, it's these quick transition plays from both teams. Neither one really building the offensive pressure in the attacking half. They're just opting to go for quick transition plays. Finally, NAU has a little bit of a sustained offense, but it's turned away by Idaho State once again.
1:15 on the clock remaining in game one in Northern Arizona. Like you mentioned, again, it's been very quick transitions, and they're playing a little bit more laterally rather than longitudinally in terms of their touches. So it's just kind of been interesting to watch the first 4 minutes here. Still nothing on the board. A pretty quick game one, it looks like.
Yeah, despite the lack of offensive firepower, you could say this clock still has ticked down quite fast, as these defenses have been the showcase here of game number one, as both of these teams still trying to settle into the long series ahead. Again, best of 7 to determine the conference champion here in the Horizon League.
That's in the Big Sky tournament.
Oh, my bad.
30 seconds left, and this NAU team was not very pleased last season, not being able to come away with the Big Sky tournament title after losing to Idaho State. They knew that things had gone wrong, but they've worked really, really hard this semester in terms of working to get back to here and find a way to win. And they're excited to be here. They're excited to play in the tournament. And I think they're going to do a lot of damage. They're going to be another tough out, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, but still, both of these offensive being stymied by the defensive control that both teams have here in this series. Once it gets to that defensive third, it's really a struggle to try and push the ball anywhere near the net. And when it does, that goal line is a brick wall for both of these teams, as now Idaho State trying to get a little bit fancy with it with some great infield passing plays, but again, turned away by the defense. The demo could possibly open up some space, but Beast with a great touch, sending it to the corner. Now Ultramag trying to set it up once again. Idaho State finally having a bit of offensive showcase here, but it's still turned away by NAU. Now EJ will try one more time, but his pinch will go wide into the corner. Ultramag collecting on it. He'll try once more, trying to go under Beast. Still able to get a hand up, though, is NAU, and Chronicle will clear it out.
Almost 50 seconds into overtime, almost 6 minutes, Sleeper, without a single goal in this series. It's been a defensive showcase, which is something we're kind of excited to watch. You don't get to watch much defensive master classes as of lately. It's been a lot of high-scoring action in CCS as of late on broadcast, so it's kind of, every now and then, it's fun to watch just a complete, utter defensive domination out of both sides.
Especially with some of these quality shots that are going through. Is that one just wide of the net? Chronicle looking to transition it here. Just has one more to beat. Looking for a flip reset. Can't capitalize on it, though. But like I was saying, just the quality of shots as well. These infield passes. Ultramag, his shot saved on contact as well. Now that shot, top left corner, saved away. Adam trying to go once again. It's centered, but Beast is behind it, able to bring it out. And both of these teams, their quality defense is really showing out, like you were saying, Nation.
And it's got to be so dang annoying being either one of these two teams in the field, not being able to score. You've been getting shut out for 7 minutes now, and neither offense can find a way to break through.
Yeah, neither defense is really showing any signs of breaking, because it's really that possession game that neither team has been able to play effectively in the offensive third. It's the takeaway defense that both of these teams have been able to play to perfection, as Chronicle gets a very crucial dunk touch there to keep that out of the hands of the attacking Idaho State Bengals. Now trying to work in offense again are the Lumberjacks, but don't have offensive possession. Now Carr will try and set it up, bouncing off the ramp. Demo opens up some space. Shot from Beast, top right corner. 2:29 in overtime, and NAU end it.
7.5 minutes later, the Lumberjacks, first on the board tonight, take game one.
And I mean, what we could see here now, Nation, going through into game number 2 is we could just see an explosion of offense, because a lot of times what we see from these very tightly fought games is that the next one tends to be a bit of an offensive shootout because of the amount of defense that these teams have to play. They don't want to try and repeat that. They want to score as much as possible. And then it ends up being a lot of just goal after goal after goal in game 2. But we'll have to see exactly if that's going to be the case here, or if we're going to see more of the same that we saw here in game 1.
I think it's more of the same. It's not like NAU's defense is going to all of a sudden break. I don't think Idaho State's defense is going to break it either. I think we're going to continue to see high defensive efforts from both of these teams all night long.
I mean, we very, very well could. Neither defense was really showing any signs of break. I mean, Idaho State did at the end, but that was after 7.5 minutes of very fatiguing defensive-heavy Rocket League. So we'll have to see exactly which team is really able to take control, because despite NAU winning, it was very back and forth. Neither team really taking firm control of the game.
First 20 seconds gone by the wayside. Chronicle launching forward, back to Ultramag, towards center field. No one home as EJ trying to encapsulate that ball is killed for his effort. That's 2 dead. 3-on-1 power play. They're chasing the last member. Couldn't connect, and that one's cleared out of harm's way.
These demo plays from NAU as well have been very entertaining to watch, because that's what opened up partial of the space in the offensive half for them to get the goal. But then as well, they just have been hunting them over and over. And they've been able to find them, but it's that last little bit of space that they have that they just cannot capitalize on. And Idaho State are able to turn the ball away just like that. 1
minute down in game 2. Idaho State now been 8.5 minutes without a goal here still, so they've got to start to feel the fatigue quicker than NAU when it comes to scoring. And Beast, a redirect on target, won't fall, but Idaho State's offense has to find a way to score.
And I just want to point out the difference that these offensive paths are going, because Idaho State, they're playing for those infield passes, those high passes, connecting with each other that NAU has been able to turn away over and over. As Chronicle, a great stop there on the goal line. Couldn't see anyone back in that net, but he was there to put a stop to it. And then the difference that NAU has on the offense, they're getting these breakaway challenges and trying to open up space by hunting demos and bumps that Idaho State have been able to cover up for in their rotations. So it's a difference of minds on the offensive half, and yet both of these defenses have been able to meet the challenge over and over again.
Right, and I think for me, the physicality is a big factor of this series. Obviously, so far we've seen a lot of it early on, but again, when offenses struggle to score, it starts to kind of affect the mentality of a team and their effort in terms of how much their offense has been efficient. And NAU is kind of getting the better of Idaho State right now. Obviously, it's just 1-0 on aggregate, but still, both these teams have been under so much pressure tonight. Even here in game 2 alone, it's been a rough night to score for both programs.
Yeah, we are in 10 minutes total of gameplay, including overtimes, and yet only 1 goal has been scored, and that was after 2 minutes 30 seconds of overtime, as Ultra Mag will go bar down, and finally Idaho State have a score on the board.
Almost, that's 10 minutes and 15 seconds, I believe, of no scoring for Idaho State. They finally find a way to get on the board.
That's got to be a huge release of pressure that they've had, a great relief lifted off of their shoulders as they finally find a way to break down the Lumberjacks defensive line. And looking for 2 here. Carr not going to let that one go through quite easily. Now trying and clear it upfield, but Idaho State, they're holding on firm here in game 2.
Chronicle back towards the corner. Opine Carlos, long clear. Back to midfield. EJ up high. Over 1. Beast forcing a 50 flip reset. Has to help down low. Not able to force that one on through. 90 ticks to go in regulation. Still just a 1-0 ball game. Make it 2.
What a great offensive shootout there from Idaho State. You had EJ lobbing it off the backboard. Adams trying to find a bump to force Carr up early. Couldn't get a touch on the ball. and it landed right into the hands of Ultra Mag, who sent it through the 2 defenders. Now a 2-0 lead here for Idaho State. And this is the first time that a team has managed to score 2 goals in one game.
1:20 to go. Carlos up high. Bring it back down for Adams. Back to Beast. Sucked off the corner. The double. No good. Double commit there for the offense. Nothing will fall. EJ off the save, and the Bengals come away unscathed. 1:08 to go. The Lumberjacks still nothing on the board.
Now Chronicle long cleared down. Adams able to get in the air to meet it. Send it into the corner. Chronicle setting up Beast. The shot is gonna go through. And the Lumberjacks, they bring this back within 1 with just under a minute to play.
Plenty of time, Sleeper. There's number 1. 59 seconds. So much time to go.
Yeah, I mean, me and you have seen it today alone, Nation, with each other, that there's never enough time, or there's never too much time on the clock to try and score, because it could happen with 50 seconds. It could happen with 0. There's always time to score to tie up the game.
44 seconds, Chronicle. Upfield clear will set the Lumberjacks in Bengal territory. Carlos keeping this ball alive. Now Beast up next in the challenge, forcing a 50 still in control for NAU as the offense not done fighting. 30 to play.
Adams able to clear this one out, take some time off the clock, but Beast trying to collect on it, gets bumped off of the play. EJ is going to be off the backboard. Ultramag's shot saved away. Adams, low boost, has to play this one cleanly. The shot is able to be saved away from him. And Idaho State, they continue to hold on with just 10 seconds to go. Now Chronicle in the air once more. Can't beat Ultramag. Now Beast through the corner, trying to get it centered for the Lumberjacks. Now Carr trying to set it up one more time. Adams will clear it out. Now Beast through the corner. It will hit the ground though. Chronicle could not keep it up. And with just 2 games through this series, this has been the closest one so far.
Yeah, through 12.5 minutes of gameplay, both teams have struck twice.
Yeah, the goal differential has been 2-2 in this series. It's been such a close fought series. 1 goal is for both games so far. Idaho State, they had a 2-goal lead. Then Lumberjacks were able to bring it back within 1 at least. As they now try to take game number 3 against the Bengals.
1 set high the first minute here. I feel like has to be highly effective for NAU if you want to reestablish your footing in this series. That one over the last defender. Beast in trouble. Will find the save.
Hey, it was over the last defender before Beast made his presence known and was able to put the save at the last second. Now trying to transition into some offense. That shot had a chance, but it was high and wide. Now EJ, a good dunk read, and that one will just sail all the way back into the blue net. 1-0 here for the Bengals.
4:25 to go here in game 3, and the Bengals strike first early on. And if you're new to CCS and new to what the Big Sky is about here, the Big Sky Tournament Final is always cinema. It's always 2 highly respected programs, 2 highly respected opponents, as both these teams respect the heck out of each other. They know it's going to be a fight, they know it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be a war to get the job done.
Yeah, but now the Bengals were able to get an early lead here in game 3, something we haven't seen quite yet in this series. It took 7.5 minutes in game 1 to get a goal on the scoreboard. And it took a few minutes in game number 2 as well. Now Ultramag trying to get a second here for the Bengals early on in the game. But it's going to be turned away by Beast. Again, these defenses continuing to show out, but they're starting to show more cracks here and there throughout the series.
NAU has not led at any point in regulation tonight. Flip reset for Beast. Over 1. The double. No good. Rebound for Carr. No good. Denied. Adams keeps them denied away from the goal.
These rotations on the defensive end from Idaho State have been phenomenal. They are covering up for each other every step of the way. When it gets past 1, when it gets past 2, there's always one other person there to put a stop to the ball. Even when it gets past all of them, that first man on the rotation so fast to get that final save necessary. As now they try and get back into the offensive half, but turned away from the Lumberjacks. NAU still looking poised to strike. That one's off the crossbar, and it goes wide.
This series knotted up at 1-1. The 1-0 deficit faces the Lumberjacks. Beast whip reset, finds a second reset. Couldn't get that one to fall his way. Carlos with 0 boost, who will have to trail back towards his goal. And the Lumberjacks defense now trying to hold the line and get back to offense.
Yeah, getting in each other's way just a little bit. I mean, we've seen quite a few double commits from the side of NAU in the series already, as Ultramag will send one through off of the pass from EJ.
The Bengals, 2:32 to go. Find a goal, too, and Sleeper. Idaho State's on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a great passing play as well. I didn't see it as it was developing, but Ultramag off the backboard to EJ, and then staying involved in the play, back up as a passing option for EJ. And he sent it into the net, 2-0 for the Bengals. They're starting to take more and more control as the series progresses.
Beast back towards the corner, 2:14 to go. Open net, no one home. Beast isn't there in time. NAU throw a chance away to score.
Yeah, NAU need to capitalize on those opportunities. They've had a few chances here, but it's just that last strike that never ends up coming through, or it's just wide of the net, directly at a defender, what have you. But they need to try and capitalize on those a little bit more, as that's what's allowing Idaho State to stay in control of this series and of this game.
1:40 to go in game 3. NAU still trailing 2, trying to get back into this series and find their way to a lead again, as they have not led at any point in regulation tonight. 90 seconds left.
Now Carlos trying to be the man to do it. Can't get it through the defense, though. Had 2 defenders in front of him. Now popping it up for himself again in the midfield line. Can't get the redirect off of that sidewall. Ultramag will take control, wasting some time off the clock. Brings it into the offensive half for a brief moment before Chronicle puts it away. Now trying to get NAU back onto their offensive footing, but they have been held scoreless here this entire game, and it took them until the last minute to do so in game 2, and it's taking them even longer in game 3 here.
48 seconds. Carlos in the backfield. The Lumberjacks need to score in the next 15-20 seconds, Sleeper, to really leave enough time for a couple last looks at a second goal. But again, the defense of Idaho State has been so dang near close to perfect since the end of game 1.
Yeah, Chronicle trying to change some things up, has Carlos to work with, but it gets cut off by Ultramag. Now Chronicle trying to center it for Beast, gets met at the point of contact by Adams. Car in the air once again through the corner. Demo in the goal line by Beast opens up some space for Chronicle to send it through. And don't count him out yet, Nation. There's still 16 seconds on the clock.
Well, there's one, but again, 16 seconds. The Lumberjacks, all that's left to equalize.
Yeah, there's plenty of time on the clock, but at the same time, it's ticking down very fast, as now they're in their own half, being constricted to it as well. They need a breakout here, at least with a couple seconds. Chronicle does. It just on target. 2 seconds. We're tied up at 2.
And the NAU full field clear leads to a goal, and Idaho State get caught in overextension.
I mean, we were talking about it, Nation, and it ends up happening. 2 seconds on the clock. NAU tie it up. We may have a second overtime here in this series, as we do. First one ended at 2.5. We'll see how long this one is able to last.
NAU won the overtime as well, so we'll see if they can remain perfect in regulation. As Ultramag one-on-one in isolation, the 50 no good. The demo of the shooter keeps NAU alive.
That was a very close chance right off of the kickoff of overtime, but NAU, their defense, able to stand firm on that attempt from Idaho. Now trying to get some offensive of their own. Haven't been able to turn anything towards the net. A big whiff, though. 30 seconds in overtime, technically 29, but Ultramag puts a finish to it here in game number 3.
Beast, this is a complete whip in midfield on an easy save. Couldn't find contact. The Bengals lead the series 2-1.
I mean, with such an easy touch like that, you got to be kicking yourself at least a little bit. He needs to try and shake that off. Understand that it's a freak accident. you know, miss those every time and try and find a way to get back into this, as that's now 2 games in a row here for Idaho State.
Every single game has been a dogfight, though. I mean, it's been very, very tight, and NAU's just not having the offensive production that they're probably used to, which is probably why they're a little bit annoyed. Maybe they're dealing with some mental battles, trying to find a way to break through on the offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, they're very...
Did I lose you? We might have lost Sleeper.
tightly contested. 6 saves from Idaho State. Am I back?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're back.
Oh, we're back. Well, I was just talking about the goals and saves from both teams. I mean, 5 to 9 shots for NAU versus 6 to 8 for the side of Idaho State. And these defenses, we've been talking about them the whole entire series, but they are very clutch so far. And while they have started to allow more goals to roll through from game to game, they are still looking very strong.
On to game 4. Northern Arizona looking to equalize the series and guarantee us another game 6 sleeper, but Idaho State can get to match point with a win.
But with a fresh 5 minutes on the clock, 0-0 back on the scoreboard. It's really anyone's game here. Got to take Rocket League one game at a time, one goal at a time. Try and find any sort of positive momentum that you can. As Idaho State on the offense have a dangerous chance here. That redirect on target off of the post. Adams is there to finish it though. 1-0 here early on for Idaho State.
4:34, and Idaho State 26 seconds in deliver the first.
Yeah, we saw this last game with them, with the Bengals. They scored first very early on in the game. The Northern Arizona were able to come back in the last remaining few moments, I should say, as they try and tie this one up here early on this go around, but turned away by the defense of the Bengals.
4:17 to go, and Northern Arizona, they played a perfect game 1. Since then, things have been a little bit lackluster, but you know, things happen in a series like this where you're playing a physical opponent such as Idaho State. They know they have to win the physical battle as well as the mental battle, and it's been a tough night.
Yeah, Idaho State is a very, very good Rocket League squad, as Chronicle not able to break down the defense there. I mean, this defense from Idaho State especially has stepped up here in a big way in this series. They only allowed 1 for NAU in that first game. Unfortunately, it was the decider in game number 1. They only allowed 1 the side of NAU. As that's just a little bit of a misplay there from Idaho State, a rare misplay, I should say, but that cost them dearly, and it's a tie game.
Well, they gave NAU back their open midfield miss, so 1-1, 3:33 to go.
Still plenty of time for either of these teams here in game number 4. Adams trying to push Idaho State back on top. Now EJ, look at a ceiling pinch, goes wide of the net. Carr gets a good touch to clear it upfield as well. Now Beast trying to capitalize, turn it into some offense. Can't do so though, as he ran out of boost. Now Ultramag centered, trying to meet up with EJ there. Going to be cut off by Chronicle at the point of contact. Now Card with a shot towards the net, able to be easily saved away by Adams. As now NAU is starting to have a few more offensive looks here. Great save from Ultramag though.
Yeah, their offense is waking up too, which is a good sign. Chronicle in trouble. They'll find the save though off the post from a missed shot from EJ there. And halftime approaching us here. Sleeper, Carr, another save there to keep NAU unscathed for the meantime. Halftime 10 seconds away. The Bengals deep in blue territory. That shot also wide. Rebound won't go. That shot also wide. And a couple of missed shots later, NAU still even at 1.
Yeah, tie game here going into the back half of game number 4. But Idaho State, they looked poised to get another go-ahead goal, but unfortunately, they could not find it through NAU. Their defense looks strong in that stand there, as now they will have another chance here, Idaho State will. Carr turning that one away to the midfield. EJ trying to keep control for the Bengals. Still in the midfield line. No more boost, just has to let that one float to the ground into the hands of Chronicle as the Lumberjacks go back to work in the offensive half. That one's going to drop down, but it's going to be cut off by EJ before that can happen.
Down to Adams, 2-on-1. EJ, he's turned wide, 145 to go on the clock here in game number 4. And Idaho State looking for match point with a goal and a lead to hold on to. Northern Arizona trying to score to get this series back to equilibrium.
Off the backboard, Ultramag not going to let that one float to the ground. Meets it in the air. Carr back centered for Beast. It's going to be off the backboard. Shot from Chronicle is stopped by EJ. He's been a brick wall in front of these cars, not allowing them to really take a great shot right when it hits their car. He's there to put a stop to it. Now Chronicle once again for NAU has Beast. It's just barely off of the post and crossbar. And a great 50 from EJ puts that one wide into the corner. We still are tied up at 1 apiece with just under a minute left.
Just under a minute to go. Chronicle has no help. Adams breaks through the press. Now last up is Carlos, a huge 50 to keep the game alive. That was if he missed that 50, it was over here in game 4. 40 to play. EJ in trouble. Will find a save though. NAU now might have their best chance here at boost advantage in control for the Lumberjacks.
Now Chronicle will try and set it up one more time. 30 seconds on the clock. Idaho State look to break out here though. Beast in position to put a stop to that one. Carlos has to collect in his own quarter. 50 from Adams. Ultramag will be there first. Leaves it for Beast, actually. Now trying to clear it across field. That's a missed touch there from Carlos. Could have had the time or the go-ahead goal. That's a double tap from Chronicle, though. 11 seconds. He gets the go-ahead for NAU.
And Chronicle might have just put the game on ice with 11 to go. The Lumberjacks lead 1.
11 seconds left. Bengals, they need a good kickoff here. Don't find it into the opposite corner from where they were. 5 seconds now. They need to work in the air if they want to try and keep this one alive. Adams will do just that. Trying to meet up with Ultramag, but he has no boost in the tank. Still in the air. Beast got his own boost, so leaves the tanks empty from Idaho State. It will indeed hit the ground. And they tie up the series 2 apiece.
Guaranteed now a game 6 sleeper. So Neo Tokyo's coming back for a second straight series.
Yeah, I love to see it. And what else do you love to see is the offensive showcase that Northern Arizona had. Whether it was the, although they didn't have the quantity of goals, they had 12 shots. So they had a much better offensive prowess than they have the last couple games. And that's a good look going forward to the rest of the series. Maybe they might start to be able to convert on a lot more of those opportunities if they are given them time and time again like they were in this last game.
Game 5, match point advantage on the line for the winner. Now they're going to want it more than anything here. And having that game in hand is a big advantage, sleeper, in a tournament like the Big Sky, where every single game in a series is so dang important because it's super hard to win so many different games against Idaho State and NAU, respectively.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single game has been a 1-goal game so far, whether that be through overtimes or a last-second goal to try and put the game on ice. I mean, both of these teams are fighting tooth and nail every step of the way to try and take the conference title here for the Big Sky.
NAU's never won the Big Sky tournament ever before as well. They had those 2 seasons where it was just Sac State and NAU dominating the league, and Sac State got the better of the Lumberjacks twice in both season 3 and 4. Now here in it was season 3 and 4, yeah, and then it was Idaho State last season, and again, and they still weren't able to come up with a win. So they've had a couple of appearances in this Big Sky tournament, but in the final, but they just can't get the job done tonight. It might be their best chance.
You saying that honestly surprises me with the quality of roster that we have here at NAU. I mean, they're just such very solid players. The fact that they haven't won the Big Sky yet is a big shock to me personally. It would be nice to see them finally be able to close it out and get that big sigh of relief off of their shoulders and at least go into the CCS championship bracket with the Big Sky title under their belt finally.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be a good momentum booster going into that first round of 64, which they did advance out of last season, but then they pulled number one Indiana in the second round because they were an 8 seed. So, they're hoping for anything better than that. I told them, I've got them around a 6 or a 7 probably if they win this series. They will at least avoid a 1 seed in round 2, but there's a possibility they could have to go play one of the 2 seeds, which is still a top 8 team in the country, in the second round.
Yeah, no matter what seed you get, you will have to end up facing a juggernaut team after the first couple rounds, if not in those first couple rounds. NAU want to try and avoid them for as long as possible and get a more favorable matchup to push through the CCS championship bracket. But first, it starts with getting the victory here in the Big Sky title tournament. As that shot rings off of the crossbar, and through half of the game, we're still scoreless. As here's a big chance from Idaho State, and they will collect on it.
219, the Bengals trying to defend their Big Sky crown, Sleeper, and they're doing a heck of a job tonight too, and it's been an insane series. We just got a Game 7 overtime, and this series is also delivering a heck of a series as well.
Yeah, along with NAU trying to get their first Big Sky title, we've got Idaho State trying to be the first ever in the Big Sky to go back-to-back in the conference tournament. So 2 storylines for both of these teams here to look out for, as it's still knotted at 2 apiece in the series. But Idaho State have a 1-0 lead here in game number 5 as we enter the back stretch here of this game.
And this league sent 3 teams to the tournament last season as well, with Sac State, Idaho State, and NAU. And I believe NAU was the only team that got out of that first round, or Idaho State also got to round 2, but lost to Colorado in the second round in Game 7. So they had 2 programs in the top 32. Now Beast, the one-on-one in isolation, no good. A big chance gone for the Lumberjacks.
Just couldn't get that last extension on his flick attempt. Was able to be easily saved away by Idaho State. Now looking to try and get a goal for themselves here, turn it into a 2-0 lead, but it's turned away for now. Now Carr able to push it back up to that midfield line. EJ already in the air, lying in wait, trying to have the Bengals pounce on this offensive attack. Chronicle plays it slowly and cleanly, brings it out of his own half now, trying to get the Lumberjacks back into some bit of offense.
1 minute to go here in game number 5. Chronicle and Carlos chasing it, couldn't surround it. Adams makes it 2-0.
Just a bit too much pace on that ball. Sent it through the defense. They were supersonic, going as fast as they could, but they just couldn't catch up to it. Like you said, Nation, 2-0 lead now here for Idaho State. Just under a minute to play. NAU, they've been in this position before. They were able to get 1 back in game number 2, but they still were not able to tie it up there. They were trying to do so here, but it's some physical play from Idaho State. Lands in favor of another goal.
3-0, the largest lead tonight for Idaho State, and 44 seconds left, and NAU might have to look ahead to game 6.
Yeah, at this point, 44 seconds on the clock. You try and find any bit of momentum to ride going into that next game, and that's almost a great shot there, as Beast able to get that one through, able to put the finishing touches on it. Great bit of work there from Chronicle to not only get that shot off, but then the second he missed, try and find some bumps as well. This offense from NAU still rolling along, but the defense from Idaho State also stepped up in a big way here in game number 5.
Carlos, 1-on-2, goes under, flip reset, had no help. EJ back to midfield, keeps this one alive in orange territory. 25 to go. Snapshot turned away by Ultramag, left alone. And I think it's Chronicle down low here, which it is not. It's Carr and the back of the goalpost. 18 to play though. Game 5 is essentially over at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a little bit of garbage time. Trying to just play for the momentum swing, the momentum shift headed into game number 6, the all-important game. We saw it in the last match between CSU Northridge and UCSD. That one ended up going to 7, but Idaho State will try and close it down here on Neo Tokyo.
When NAU, if they're going to want their first ever Big Sky tournament title, it's going to have to come in game 7.
Yeah, big step up here from Adam as well in this game number 5. He had 2 of the 3 goals as well as 4 saves to pair with it, getting the MVP for his team and in a very deserved way as well, showing up on both sides of the ball on offense and defense. But it'll be the entire team that'll need to step up again here in game 6 if they want to stop NAU from trying to mount a comeback to force game 7.
Game 6 underway. Northern Arizona trying to get us to game 7 for a second consecutive series. And again, back when they made their first Big Sky Tournament final against Sac State back in Season 3, that series went to game 7. They fell just short to the Hornets, but tonight the Bengals lead 1 in game 6.
16 seconds off the clock before the Bengals scored here in this game. And I just gotta say, Nation, these early goals here from Idaho State, from what we've seen in the series, they favored very close games instead of a complete blowout from the Bengals, because in game 3, it was a very early goal from the Bengals. That one ended up a tie game, excuse me, before being opened up once again by the Bengals. And then game number 4 was just like we're seeing here, very early from the Bengals, and then a quick answer from the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, and a quick physicality play there. The bump sets up the shooter for an open target. 4:27 to go. This is the third Big Sky tournament in CCS. It's been appeared by NAU 3 times. This is their 3rd straight trip to the Big Sky tournament final. Idaho State's 2nd straight trip. They missed it back in Season 3 because they weren't a part of the league back then. This wasn't even a team a year ago. 4:15 to go, and the Bengals even up at 1 apiece with the Lumberjacks with a chance to be crowned back-to-back Big Sky tournament champions.
Now there's still 4 minutes on the clock, and both of these juggernaut defenses to try and break through to at least force your narrative and storyline onto your opponents. Like you said, Nation, NAU trying to finally secure that Big Sky title, with Idaho State trying to go back-to-back for the first time ever for any team in the Big Sky. Still knotted up here. NAU trying to break it open, but there's opportunities still being turned away by the Bengals.
NAU won the CECC Big Sky qualifier, and they beat Idaho State in, I think, game 7 or potentially, and they got their trip booked to Dallas. I'll see them in person here in a couple weeks in May, and excited to meet these kids in person. But again, you got to go win one more Big Sky tournament tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure. Big Sky tournament titles all across the board for multitude of leagues, but these teams are playing like it is life or death either way. That's a great extension save from the side of NAU. A little mistouch there from Chronicle. Sends it back to their own half, but Beast able to bring it right back up into the offense for the Lumberjacks.
2:45 to go. Good touch for Chronicle. Good control. Be broken up, though, by Ultra Mag and the Idaho State defense. Ready to adjust here. Halftime, 8 seconds away. This clock continues to tick off. Idaho State's got to be wary. What NAU's can get desperate later on, try to force their hand at a goal here to go to game 7.
You don't want to get too desperate and start to overextend, though, because that is when it has been your downfall, because there's been no shortage of long, clear goals, whether that's in the last series that we just saw. And there's been a couple here as well where a team is just overextended and got caught out lacking ever so slightly, as Adam tries to get a 50 with that ball to try and force it through, but it's saved away. Now Ultra Mag trying to get Idaho State back on top of the scoreboard here. He pops over to EJ, has it around 1, trying to get past Beast. He is able to get a play on it. Now Carr still getting a hand up on that play, breaking it up as it developed. Getting a 50 into the opposite corner as well now, but Adam will collect on it. Brings it out to the center of the field, trying to collect with Ultra Mag, but cut off by Carr and NAU.
1:30 left to go. No boost in the tank for Beast. Looking at around 1, though. Adams letting this one drop down. Has help from Ultra Mag Chronicle. In the backfield in trouble, left by his lonesome. Over the first defender, though. Over EJ, he's in trouble. Gets it past EJ finally there, and EJ with a full tank. Adams trying to retrieve the possession here for the Bengals as Carr able to fire. CJ, a weak save there, keeps the ball between himself as Beast pops it away from him. And this last minute, the Idaho State Bengals trying to hold the line. NAU trying to do all they can to get this to Game 7.
EJ gets 50'd by Carr. It's going to be popped over to Ultramag, though. Has it dropped down to EJ, cut off by Chronicle at the point of contact. Now the Lumberjacks trying to march down the field. They pick up the ball first. It's going to be centered for Beast. Cut off by Ultramag, not allowing that one to get into the hands of the shooter. Now Adam, quick clear. EJ's in the mid. Pops it up, trying to take control still. Keep possession in the offensive half. Beast pops it out to the corner. Takes it himself as well. Actually leaves it for Carr. Has the boost in the tank to work with as well, but gets stopped in that orange corner.
18 seconds to go. NAU trying to keep their season, at least in terms of a conference championship, alive as Carr fires and scores. 2-1.
Bang!
10 to go. Onions.
10 seconds on the clock. Beast down to Carr, bumps Ultramag out of the way as well. Now a 2-1 lead here for NAU. Going into the final remaining seconds, they just need to play it cleanly throughout the rest. And then they will force game number 7. But we've seen some crazy things happen so far today.
One last effort. EJ fires, scores on 0.
What did I tell you, Nation? What did I tell you? We've seen crazy things happen today, and we continue to see crazy things happen. 1 second off the clock, or 1 second on the clock still, I should say. Great kickoff there from Idaho State to force it into the offensive half. And we have overtime in game number 6. Pivotal here for NAU. They need to win this one to keep their Big Sky tournament hopes alive.
And it's got to be mentally draining to give up a goal in that fashion if you're NAU here now. Beast taking it slow, flip reset, goes under. Couldn't quite corral it there. Now this overtime, gotta be perfect if you're NAU.
Yeah, Idaho State, they have been pouncing and chomping at the bit at any mistake that NAU have given them, trying to force the go-ahead goals to land their way. Thankfully, the defense from NAU has been able to cover up for some of those, but with overtime, you cannot let one mistake be the deciding factor between getting Game 7 and going home. You need to try and play as clean of Rocket League as possible. As we approach a minute here, NAU trying to end it early on. Chronicle's shot will be saved by EJ, but still NAU looking to loom on the offensive half.
Chronicle got to be careful here. Ultramag back down. Chronicle did get dunked. He's in trouble. The shot didn't go. Rebound is no good, and they survive.
Such clutch saves there coming out from the side of NAU. From the angle that I was on there's so many times where it looked like it could have just been ended right there, but then there's a defender from NAU at the last second. Demo from Carr couldn't get the shot on target as well, trying to play through the defender. But that is just a too tall of task there. Now another demo opens up some space. That's going to drop down center, but Adams doesn't have any boost, just has to play for the 50. Beast a little awkward in his own net. Ultramag will have some room to take the shot, but it's saved away still. Idaho State looking to loom on the offensive half. Some more demos coming out from NAU to give themselves some space to breathe, but still possession and control of Idaho State. That shot from EJ goes wide.
Good power clear out the Chronicle, now out to Beast. 2 minutes on the clock here in the extra period so far, and Chronicle demo for his efforts. Adams will claim the victim. Now back to EJ. Look for a double. Won't get back to that one in time as Beast set to clear for the Lumberjacks. And 2:15 to go. Shot to the corner. No good. Chronicle double commit off the save. And Idaho State sleeper continues to fight there. It's still denied.
It was a double commit, but luckily the touch went so wide of the net that there's no possible follow-up that could happen right away. And some more great clutch defense from NAU to keep... sorry, my computer just glitched. And thankfully for Idaho State, it opened up some space. Chronicle not able, or he was able to get it, but unfortunately dropped it right back down to the center of the goal. And it was through for Adams, and Idaho State are your back-to-back Big Sky Tournament champions.
And the Bengals will dance on. Northern Arizona will hope for an at-large, which I think they'll be granted, but their seeding at least will probably drop at least a little bit sleeper after this, but still, they're going to now have to look ahead to the tournament.
Yeah, we've had some great series here tonight between me and you, Nation. I hopped on for that Wichita State UNT match, which was a little more one-sided, but these last two definitely delivered in the closeness and content. I mean, I believe most of these games here, if not barring one between Idaho and NAU, went to 1-goal games, 3 of them being overtime as well, and 2 of those overtimes over 2.5 minutes.
Crazy work, and 6-hour broadcast complete here tonight. And what a stream that was. Game 7 earlier on, and Akron beating Ball State in 5. Quinnipiac cleaned up Mount St. Mary's in 4. UMBC beat the Highlanders, upset them in 5. North Texas pulled off the win of the night against Wichita State in sweeping fashion. We had the thrilling Game 7 just an hour ago with CSUN, and now we closed our night with Idaho State knocking off Northern Arizona.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful night. We've sent 6 teams here to the CCS National Championship. We'll send some more teams through tomorrow before the selection show next Thursday. We'll end up filling out the remaining teams that don't end up making it through based on winning your conference championship game.
And join us back at 8 Eastern tomorrow as Radford takes on Winthrop at the Big South Tournament Final. Then at 9 Eastern, Grand Canyon takes on UT Arlington in the WAC Tournament Final. And UConn at 10 Eastern takes on Cinderella poised Xavier in the Big East Tournament Final. It's been Nation and Sleeper. Thanks for watching a 6-hour broadcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow. So long from Champ Week.